Hi, it's Brett-Warburton here, coming to you from Guildford in Surrey. I'm heading into town down a different route today, and I've got a different set of activities. I'm actually going to try posting a parcel. It's the first time I've actually had to do this since I have been in lockdown. Normally I've posted letters, or mostly it's been done by email, but this is the first time I've actually had to go into somewhere to try and post a parcel. So it's going to be a bit of a new experience. But I'm walking down through the park area next to the river today, just to have a look to see how things are going down here. I'll show you the works we've got. There was a collapsed weir a little while ago, and the works are ongoing to shore up the old weir. A view of part of the river that's been blocked up in order to facilitate the works further down the river. You can see this is normally quite full. And you can see we've got people out and about today, and plenty of activity going along in the sort of open areas. This will be kind of interesting. How do they stay 2 meters away from me? So, right, let's have a walk down here and see whether we can get back into town this way, or whether the weir is still closed. Here's the bridge we just walked down, and looking across the little bit of parkland next to the river, there are just a few people about, all keeping quite a lot of distance. A lot of people out enjoying their motorcycles today, zooming up and down the road. This is the river. You can see it's very empty. It's also used as a canal. This has been emptied to facilitate the replacement of the weir further up. We'll have a look at that later. This is an interesting little pub when it's open. Well worth a visit. It's got a lovely little patio right next to the river. Usually this is water right up to the top. It's actually quite a nice little waterfront here. And there you can see the works that are ongoing to replace the weir, which collapsed a few months ago right across where the weir is, or was I should say. But now they've provided barriers so that you can't actually get any further. So if I want to go into town, I'm going to have to backtrack a little bit up over the bridge and then go back along the road rather than along the river. You can see the water being pumped to keep the area dry while the work goes on. Coming up to the bridge again. You can see the traffic moving underneath the arch of the bridge there on the other side of the bank. I've noticed that there's more road traffic appearing in the past day or two, where presumably people are starting to feel a little bit more inclined to get out and about and get on with their work. You can actually hear in places building work going on, more of it happening compared to what it was a few days ago, a week ago. So gradually there's a little bit of tentative activity happening. You can see we're now on the other side of the river, walking up to the wayside pub. This is the actual entrance from the roadside. Here we go. More buildings along the riverside. I like this one. Last historic vestige of what it used to be like down by the river. You can see the car park is pretty empty. Right, what we'll do is cut along the river back here to have a look at the other side of those weir works. This is the old mill, now owned by the Borough Council, and the Ivanano Theatre by the river. And we'll walk towards this and then cut across a little bridge that takes you to the other side of the riverbank from the road, and then we can work our way along that back into town. You can see some of the council workers are still making sure the place is tidy and operational, doing an excellent job. Working our way along the back of the Ivanano Theatre towards the little bridge. It's just been replaced. Been quite a lot of works along the river to make it accessible. You'll see cyclists zooming past me there. So there are quite a few people out and about. It's a very, very nice day and people are taking their exercise, but they're also pretty much keeping a good distance away. They're quite disciplined now, very good. The lock off to our left, you can see, was restored in 2014, so pretty recent. And along the lock you've got the other end where the little footbridge has been replaced recently as well. This is the little basin that is normally full of water where the canal barges gather. You can hear the motorbikes in the background as people are taking their hour of exercise on the back of their bike, presumably. You can see this is an additional bit of parkland next to the river. The river splits actually into two elements. This is to the left, to our left here, is where the canal runs, and on this other side is the overflow that used to come down the weir. And over here you can see one facade of the Ivanano Theatre, very ship-like in its architecture. Here's the little bridge running across the canal portion of the riverway with the Ivanano Theatre in the background. And then as you come around here you can actually see more clearly. This is the river and this is the little bridge that runs across the non-canal part of the riverway. There's another car park, a few cars down there. This is where we're going to be heading to get back into town now. We're going to scoot across the little bridge, working our way back into town, so we end up at the bottom of the high street and work our way back to where I live. We're sitting out enjoying the sun along the riverbank, all well distanced. Another view of the canal, you can see the two sides join into one as it turns back into a single river down here, carrying on back through Guildford. This bridge out here is where we'll head back across it, back to the bottom of the high street and back into town. To my actual target of getting into, get my parcels posted and a few supplies. Going to arrive at the high street. You can see it's pretty quiet up here. There's not many shops open, even quieter than the riverbank. Anyway, I'm off to the post office. This is Mark Brett-Warburton in Guildford in Surrey. If you want to be in touch, you can contact me at yourviews@brett-warburton.com. Talk to you soon.